Dear students, so in the last few classes we have seen something about the locomotory structures. Okay, so today we are going to see something about the questions we can expect from the particular skeletal system and the muscular system. Over here, see the first question: long bones functions in. Okay, so over here there are functions given for you, and you have to find out the exact function of the long bones present in a human body. And over here the choice A, support. Okay, that means the long bones, they are going to give only the supportive function for the particular human body, and the B refers to support and synthesis of erythrocytes or red blood cells or RBCs over here, and support both the synthesis of RBC and WBC, and the final choice over here is only the RBC synthesis. Okay, so just remember one thing, the long bones. Okay, so the characteristic nature of the particular long bones, the process of, they have the structure called bone marrow. Okay, so as a human being, as a evolved mammal over here, the synthesis of all the red blood cells gonna initiate from or start from the structure called bone marrow. That means all types of blood cells, as I told you, there are so many types of blood cells available. RBCs, all the types of WBCs, platelets. Okay, so almost all the blood cell types are going to originate from the bone marrow. All the WBCs, as I told you, macrophages, neutrophils, lymphocytes. Okay, all the leukocytes and all the RBCs going to originate from the, or they are going to be synthesized from the bone marrow. And as I told you, long bones refers to, they are going to give, of course they are going to give the supportive function for the human body. Okay, they are going to give the structure and the posture, and they are going to participate in the locomotion. Okay, so you have to choose the choice, correct choice, not supportive alone. Okay, so support is the answer, correct answer, but they are doing more than the support. Okay, and the choice, correct choice over here is, they are going to give the support for the human body, and they are going to involve in the synthesis of RBCs and WBCs of the blood cells. Okay, so this is the correct answer for the first question. And see the next question: intercostal muscles occur in. Okay, so this question is talking about a kind of muscle, intercostal muscle. Okay, so while we are studying the respiration, okay, breathing and the exchange of gases, I told you intercostal muscles are involved in the breathing. So what is breathing? As I told you, respiration. Okay, so over here there are some regions given for you. The question is talking about the location or the site of the particular intercostal muscles, and there are some choices given for you: abdomen, thigh, ribs and diaphragm. Okay, so you can easily eliminate the thigh because the thigh region is not going to involved in the respiration. And there are remaining choices: abdomen, ribs and diaphragm. Almost all the three areas involved in the respiration. But the question over here, in which part the particular intercostal muscles occur? Okay, so the answer choice over here, intercostal muscles occurs in the ribs. Okay, so there are two major criteria, classes of intercostal muscles: external and internal. Okay, so both the external and internal intercostal muscles are being connected with or being joined with the ribs. They are going to involve in the movement of the particular rib cages during the breathing or respiration. Okay, and see the next question: the type of joint in between the human skull bones. Okay, so the question is talking about the skull bones is being connected by. Okay, as I told you, there are so many bones, they are going to connect with each other. Okay, they are going to fuse with each other, and they are going to form the cranium, that is our skull. Okay, so this is not a single bone. As I told you, there are so many bones, they are fused with each other, and finally they will form the structure called cranium. This is what you have to remember. The question is talking about or asking about the joint. Which type of joint is present in between the bones of the particular cranium or skull bones? Okay, so over here there are choices: cartilaginous joint, hinge joint, fibrous joint and synovial joint. In the last class, as I told you, there are so many types of joints are present. Cartilaginous joint, fibrous joint and synovial joints are the major type of joints. Over here you have to remember one thing, the synovial joint, hinge joints are involved in the locomotory structures. Suppose you have to move the structure, okay, like you are moving your limb, legs, okay, jaws, okay, the entire body, the locomotory organs or locomotory structures, they are being connected with each other. That kind of joint is by means of synovial joint and hinge joints. Okay, they are giving locomotion or movement in the particular axis, and there are so you can easily eliminate the two choices, because our cranium as a structure, it is not gonna, the bones in the cranium not gonna move from, or they are not gonna move from their particular position. Okay, they are being in constant position throughout the particular structure. Okay, so you can easily eliminate the synovial and hinge joint, and see the remaining two choices, cartilaginous joint and fibrous joint. And just remember one thing, cartilaginous joint also they are going to provide some kind of movement. Okay, for example, cartilaginous joint present in the joining of the vertebral column. Okay, so they are in the vertebrals, in between the vertebral bones they are being connected. Okay, so they are giving some kind of movement, not the free movement as from the synovial or hinge joint, but they are also providing some kind of movement, and they are also not present in the joining between the skull bones. The answer over here is fibrous joint. Okay, fibrous joint is a joint which is going to connect or fuse the skull bones. Finally, they are going to form the structure called cranium. Okay, and see the next question over here, the joint in between the ribs and sternum. As I told you over here, based on a movement or based on an immobility, we have to find out the correct joint over here. As I told you, this is joint in between the ribs and so ribs will be like this. Okay, and the ribs will be connected to the central bone, sternum. So the point over here, which type of joint is gonna connect the particular ribs and sternum? As I told you over here, is there any mobility involved over here? Of course, yes. Okay, so for proper breathing, the sternum and rib cages has to move forward and backward. That is, some kind of movement gonna happen. Okay, not the free movement as we are observing in the limbs or joints of our knees. Okay, so over here some kind of movement. Okay, so that movement gonna create the pressure by means of the intercostal muscles, as I told you in the previous question, and with the help of lungs they are gonna inhale and exhale the gases. Okay, so the point you have to remember over here, with the help of joints in between the ribs and sternum, there must be some movement. Okay, so you have to choose the joint which gonna provide the movement over here. Okay, so you can easily eliminate the choice, the fibrous joint. As I told you, fibrous joint, they won't give the locomotion or movement effect, they are just fusing the bones. Okay, so there are remaining choices, gliding, angular and cartilaginous joints. So angular joints, they are not going to involve in the rib cages, and the gliding joint, you may get confused with the term gliding joint. Gliding joint refers to they are allowing the bones to glide over the other. Okay, so over here the ribs not gonna glide over the sternum, the rib and along with the sternum it is gonna expand and move forward and backward. Okay, so you can easily eliminate the gliding. And as I told you, the cartilaginous joint over here, they are gonna provide some kind of movement as they are doing in the vertebral column. Okay, and with the help of cartilaginous joints, okay, the ribs and sternum gonna do the breathing. Okay, so the answer over here, the joint in between the ribs and sternum, the cartilaginous joint. Okay, now we are going to proceed with the questions from the same topic. And see the next question now. During muscle contraction, okay, so here they are going to explain about some event during the muscle contraction, and you have to choose the correct event. The sarcomere does not shorten, A band remains the same, AHI band shorten and actin filament shorten. Okay, and you have to choose the correct answer. As told you in the previous classes during the muscle contraction. Okay, so there are so many bands like this. Okay, so there are some light bands. Okay, in between the light bands there is a set line. Light bands are called I bands, and there are some thick bands. Thick bands are called A band, and in between the A band there are some zones called H zone. Okay, so the point you have to recall over here, the A band always refers to the protein filaments, myosin, and the I band always refers to the protein filaments, actins. Okay, so both the actin and the myosin gonna involved in the contraction of muscle, and as I told you, each muscle fiber is made up of a functional or structural unit called sarcomere. Okay, so a sarcomere refers to a gap or space or line in between two Z lines. Okay, so the point you have to remember over here, this question is talking about how the particular muscle is being functioning, or while the contraction of the particular muscle, what will happen to the particular band, particular I band, A band or H band, which one is gonna shorten or increase in length, or how the particular muscle is getting contracted. And see the choices over here. The choice A, the sarcomere does not shorten. This may not be the correct answer, because the sarcomere as a unit, it has to shorten its length, then only the muscle will get contracted. Okay, the ultimate aim of the particular process is the contraction of the particular muscle. So you can easily eliminate the choice 1. And see the remaining, the A band remains the same, AHI band shorten, actin shorten. Okay, so again I am telling you, over here the principle of the muscle contraction over here, the sliding or passing over of the muscles, the actin and the myosin, they are sliding over the other, the movement of actin and myosin over the other. Okay, how it's going to work? As I told you in the previous classes, myosin has a cross arm. Okay, it is going to bind with the actin and it is going to pull the actin towards the center. Okay, so what happens actually over here, in the actin as a filament, they are going to slide over the myosin. The point you have to remember over here, there will be no shortening of the particular actin or myosin. That means there will be no shortening of I and A. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. So you can easily eliminate the choice C also. Why? As I told you, the A and I bands, they are going to be remain same. The myosin and actin, they are going to be remain same. So you can easily eliminate the D also. As I told you, the actin also, they are not going to get shortened. The actin filaments length also, they are going to be remain same. Only how the particular contraction or the length is being reduced. As I told you, the reduction of the length of the particular sarcomere. Okay, so you can easily eliminate the remaining 3 choices. The answer over here, A band remains the same. As I told you, the myosin. Okay, A band refers to the band formed of myosin. The length of the myosin remains same, because it is going to pull the actin. It is not going to reduce in the length or their size. Okay, and see the next question over here. Which one of the following is not a function of the skeletal system? Okay, and see the choices: production of body heat, locomotion, production of erythrocytes, and storage of minerals. Okay, so as I told you in the previous question, we all know the easiest choice you can eliminate over here, the locomotion. This is one of the major function of the skeletal system, and as I told you in the previous questions, you have to remember production of erythrocytes is from the bones, and you have to choose the choice in between the two: production of body heat and storage of minerals. Just remember one thing, the production of body heat is not being done by the skeletal system. Okay, there are so many minerals that is being stored in the particular skeletal system. So the choice over here, this question is talking about not a function of skeletal system. The production of heat is not a function of the particular skeletal system. And see the next question, the type of muscle present in our, okay, and see the choices. This question is talking about the type of muscle and their structure. Okay, and heart muscle. Heart is involuntary muscle and unstriated smooth muscles. Okay, and this is for heart. And then the second choice talking about intestine muscles, striated and voluntary, and third one is thigh muscles, striated and voluntary, and fourth one upper arm smooth muscles. Okay, so as I told you in the previous classes, there are so many muscles are there: skeletal muscles and smooth muscles or visceral muscles and cardiac muscles. Okay, skeletal muscles are striated. Okay, they will be very strong. They are participates in the locomotion. And visceral muscles are smooth muscles. They are present in the internal linings of the particular tract, gastrointestinal tract and respiratory tract such as and reproductive tracts. And cardiac muscles, they are gonna make part of the structure of heart. Okay, so the point you have to remember over here, the cardiac muscles are striated and they are involuntary. Over here, heart is involuntary and they are unstriated. The choice telling unstriated, so you can easily eliminate the choice here. As I told you, heart muscle is a striated muscle and involuntary. Over here, it is telling you unstriated, so you can easily eliminate the choice A. And see the next one, intestine muscles. Intestine muscles are smooth muscles. That means, as I told you, visceral muscles, they won't be striated, so you can easily eliminate the choice B. And see the last choice, upper arm smooth muscles. Upper arm refers to skeletal muscles, and here also the striated muscles and voluntary muscles, so you can easily eliminate the choice D. And the correct choice over here, thigh muscle. Thigh muscles are striated and voluntary muscles that is being controlled by the central nervous system. And see the next question, the cervical vertebrae in human. Okay, here they are going to compare the number of bones in the particular cervical vertebrae. Okay, they are talking about the number of vertebrae in the particular structure. Over here, there are choices, same as in whale, more than a rabbit, more than or double than that of horse, and less than that of giraffe. Okay, so from the choices you can observe a clue over here, all are mammals. Okay, so including human, all are mammals, and the question is talking about the number of cervical vertebrae. Okay, so the answer over here is almost, there are with a few exceptions. There are few exceptions, as I told you. Sloth. There are two-toed sloth and a three-toed sloth. Okay, so as I told you, exception like two-toed or three-toed sloth, other than the sloth, almost all the mammals, they have the cervical vertebrae number are common. Okay, so the point you have to remember over here, this one, almost all the mammals, they have the same number of cerebral vertebrae, so you can easily eliminate. More than rabbit is not answer, double than horse is not a correct answer, less than giraffe is not a correct answer. As I told you, same as whale, same as rabbit, same as horse, same as giraffe. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. Now we are going to continue the next set of questions. And see the next question over here, total number of bones in each limb of a man. Okay, as I told you in the introduction classes, from this chapter, okay, you can expect the direct questions like this. Okay, so how many bones are present, which bone is present at which location, what kind of bone is present, what kind of joint which gonna connect the particular type of bone. Okay, and this kind of question you can expect from the particular chapter, and this is one of the such kind of question. Total number of bones in each limb of a man. Okay, this is a very straightforward question, and you have to choose the correct number, and correct number over here is 30. And see the next question, the contractile protein of a muscle. Okay, this question is talking about the protein which gonna participates in the contraction of muscle, and there are some choices given for you: tropomyosin, tubulin, myosin, and all of the above. Of course, you know that myosin is gonna involved in the contraction of muscle, and tropomyosin is also gonna involved in the contraction of muscle, and you may get confused with the tubulin, and you may attempt to choose the answer all of the above. But the point you have to remember over here, even though the tropomyosin is part of the particular contraction of muscle, tropomyosin is a protein or regulatory protein. They are going to assist the function of actin. They are going to assist the function of actin. They are not going to directly involved as in the myosin. As the myosin, they are going to pull the particular actin filament. That is what called the contraction of sarcomere or the contraction of muscle. Okay, so over here you have to eliminate the tropomyosin, so you can easily automatically eliminate the choice D. Okay, so correct answer over here is myosin. Myosin is the contractile protein of the muscle. Okay, without myosin the contraction will not going to happen. As I told you, myosin has the ability to pull the particular protein actin filament. Okay, that is what called the contraction of sarcomere or the particular muscle. And tubulins are proteins involved in the formation of microfilaments of the other structure of the particular cells. Okay, and see the next question. This is the follower of the previous question. The contractile protein of skeletal muscle involving ATPase activity. As I told you, myosin is the contractile protein, because as I told you, myosin going to pull the actin by means of the cross arm. Okay, as I told you, there is a cross arm like this. Okay, in the head region there are two sites. One site is for ATP binding and the another site is for the enzymatic activity, ATPase activity. Okay, so by means of binding of ATP, by means of ATPase activity, they are going to catalyze the particular ATP molecule. They are going to release energy, and that with that energy they are going to bind to the actin filaments. With that energy they are going to pull the actin filaments. Over here, the point you have to remember over here, with the help of ATPase activity of myosin, the myosin going to act as a contractile protein of a skeletal muscle. All the remaining choices, actinins, tropomyosin, troponins, are accessory proteins of actin filament. This is what you have to remember. Almost all the proteins are going to involved in the contractile of protein, but contractile of muscle. But the point you have to remember over here, only the myosin is a contractile protein. All the remaining proteins given in your question is the accessory proteins of actins. Okay. And see the final question over here, the number of floating ribs in a human body, and there are choices: 3 pairs, 2 pairs, 6 pairs and 5 pairs. So as I told you, the ribs will be like this. The ribs will be fused with the sternum like this. Okay, so just recall the thing as I told you in the previous class. The first 7 pairs will be directly connected to the sternum. Okay, and 8th, 9th and 10th pair. Okay, they are being fused with the 7th rib. This is what you have to remember. If this is a sternum, the 8th, 9th will be fused with the particular 7th rib, and the point you have to remember over here, the 11th and 12th. The last 2 pairs, they won't be fused with the sternum. Okay, and those 2 pairs are called floating ribs. Okay, the question is talking about or asking about the number of floating pairs. 3 pairs is not a greater answer, 6 and 5 you can easily eliminate them, and 2 pairs of ribs are there be floating. Okay, this is what the correct answer over here, and this is how you have to answer the questions from the particular chapter. And now we are going to see the next chapter.